allows accessing your inventory as a list. You know what? That's game changing. Welcome to a third episode of The Farmer Was Replaced. I don't think I did much progress off camera. Basically, with my main function here, the main one that I call, I can either call version 2 or version 3. So version 2 plants what you see here, and version 3 plants just a massive pumpkin field to try to get a lot of pumpkins. The game's been updated about 3 times, I think, since I last played. So little game fixes, balancing, bugs, that kind of stuff. I know they've changed speed. I forget exactly how, but they slowed it down. Apparently it was going too fast. You couldn't even see the drone work, which is kind of the point of this game. It's, it's visual. You want to see it actually doing the job. Oops, did I just click on that? And then pumpkin. No, wait, fertilizer. Multi-trade I see is new. 5K. What is that? I don't recognize that symbol. That must be something new. Is that what maize is? You know what? I'm starting to think after briefly reading the notes that maize is actually corn. It's not an actual maize, but I guess we'll find out. Corn would make a lot more sense. 300 bushels and expanding. Well, I guess I did expand the farm a few times too. And the benefit of my program, right, is all I have to do is add something like if x is greater than 3, so row 0, 1, 2, so 3 is greater than or equal to 3 makes it plant carrots the rest of the way. But taking a look at the fertilizer here, you can use item fertilizer to immediately grow the plant in 2 seconds, and you can buy it with trade fertilizer. Using fertilizer dries up the ground, but the water buff still applies. And then after that, water gets set to 0. So I did read in the notes actually they had nerfed fertilizer. It was too easy to even have like a small plot and just fertilize the heck out of everything, and it would just be too easy. So now they make it dry out the ground, which is fair. So I wonder if I should just let version 3 run for a bit to get a lot of pumpkins, because if I remember correctly, if we go to trade, this trade's down here. Fertilizer requires 10 pumpkins. And I imagine it's going to blow through my water supply because not only do I have this number increased, I think I talked about last time how they recommend in the notes for, where is it? Soil dries out over time, water loses 1% of its water every so often, so keeping a high water level uses more water than keeping a low level. Forget why I raised that, I just wanted to see the plots have more water. Okay, we're about 500 pumpkins here, we used all of our water, so if I try to use fertilizer, I could probably add it to this check water function, or should it have its own? Just trying to think where it makes sense. I would love to know if you can actually reference these variables, because what I would like to say is if you have over 100 pumpkins, then try to buy fertilizer, but maybe it's not necessary. We could just say fertilizer must be a one-time use, I'm assuming. Trade item dot fert, whoops, items dot fertilizer. You're going to trade for it, and then you're going to use like that, right? And that's regardless. That's regardless of the water level. And I could probably lower this water level to maybe 30% just because. What if I got like a really big pumpkin out of this? I see some of these pumpkins aren't living. Now, can I look at speed? 350 carrots. Okay, we don't have enough. I see it blew through my pumpkins really quickly. The last 2 videos I was asking about comments, and someone left me an awesome YouTube comment that said you can use the pound or the whatever's under the 3 key on my keyboard, the pound or the hashtag. And I read about lists. Well, this is running. No, because I used all my pumpkins and my carrots. Increases the yield of carrots. I see. What does it take to buy carrots? Maybe I have to do some like max minting or something. Else if x equals 1, crop grass. Oh, we have to untill it. Took me far too long to notice that. Why I had no grass. If is underscore over and to is it called ground? Grounds dot soil, then you're gonna want to till. Okay, so this should be the guy now. Now can I speed up carrots? The yield. Crop grass. I missed the error message. It's complaining about till. If it's over soil, then till it. Yeah, I missed why it errored. It needs to be a colon. Oh. Until it's been a week or two, I completely forget the syntax. I'd say this comments for me is huge, being able to quickly null something out like that. Okay, so speed might as well be increased. This is me just trying to min-max stuff here. If I get rid of the 0, so the first row should turn to grass. X equals 0 or 1. Missed a vital word there. I don't know if I should just go for coffee right now and let this thing run, because I can't really do much. I should mention too, there's actually what seems to be a fairly active Discord for this game. I've joined it, but I've been trying to not read anyone's suggestions, and for the most part, I don't think I've read any, but they're sharing code. It looks like a pretty good place if somebody's watching this video and has a problem. I would highly recommend going there and asking your question. That's crazy. It feels like it's not even been 2 minutes of my in real life time, and we're already at 600 logs. Okay. So I wonder if I should be getting speed again. Trees. Increase the yield. I probably should be getting... This is probably what I'm doing wrong, is I'm not getting enough of the bonuses right now. Okay, let's not call carrots. Let's actually change this to... And now that I can comment stuff, I won't forget what used to be here. So if I comment out that, and I type in crop grass, everything should go to grass, and I should have no problem getting a ton of it. And when I say everything, I mean every carrot. Because my wood's going to increase now, and my bushels are going to increase now, because I'm not buying carrot seeds all the time. My carrots are going down because... Oh yes, because I'm getting water. Let's stop this for 1 second here. You know what? We're right at 500. Oh, increases the speed of the drone. Should I do it? I feel like I should do it just because I'm so close. Maybe it'll be a mistake. I don't know. Increases the yield of carrots. Well, geez, I'm not even... I gotta crank these numbers up, man. I didn't realize how much I was lacking in the upgrade department. That is crazy. Well, we're totally out of water, so even 30% is too much. Too little. To trade for an empty tank costs 5. Well, you know what? I'm not trading for an empty tank. I already have empty tanks. They just, over time, I think it's every 2 seconds, one fills. You have 100. If my math from last time still adds up. Increases the yield of bushes and trees. Oh, we're almost at 480. Okay, so we're trying to get grass up, and we're trying to get, ooh, trees up. Well, we went with trees. What are the lists at? 1k pumpkin, 1k carrots? Interesting. A maze with treasure in the middle. Okay, now that I'm seeing this, I'm thinking this is an actual literal maze. I would love to know what lists are. Lists are used to store lots of values. Expand. So all of my unlocks now are in the 800 range. I could totally do carrots. It's kind of crazy to think about. That's how good my trees are. If I stop this for a second and I actually got rid of my bushes, where is it here? Because if you remember, the trees can't be planted to another tree. And of course, a tree can't be planted here because it would talk to this tree because of it wrapping. What if I just retired my bushes and just said call grass? I guess it's got to be a function, right? Increases the yield of carrots. And why wouldn't I do that? What about pumpkins? Increases the yield of pumpkins. Look at that. See, we're paying dividends already. In terms of time, I've been recording this for about 20 minutes in OBS. I'm probably going to cut like a good 10 minutes or so, hopefully. I was off to a little bit of a slow start here. Okay, so we got the pumpkin yield increased now. So my main goal is 1k pumpkins, 1k carrots. I think that's the next logical thing. Besides expanding the farm, I could increase grass. That wouldn't hurt me at all. Might not be a bad idea. That won't affect anything else, so increases as long as y is less than 3, I would suppose. No, yeah, 3, right? Instead of making it longer this way to try to get a triple, maybe I'm happy with just doubling it. We'll see. Yeah, because I'd have to do a lot of changes. If I did it like this, I would lose on my logs, which is not that big of a deal. I could just shift it all over. I would start growing my logs this way, to be honest. Oh wow, look how many carrots we have. There. The pumpkins are at 300 to 400. The carrots are still at a higher yield. What if we did if is over? How do you do is over? So if we're over pumpkins, gotta not forget the colon and trade for them and get fertilizer. Maybe that'll help me. I just gotta make sure I understand how this instant grow works. They're still dying on me. But maybe with this way I've got more chances. Okay, see we're almost at 500 pumpkins. We're at 1.9 carrots. If we go to pumpkins, we still cannot increase. What if we increase the carrots? We can. We've got so much wood. Why not? Give me lots of carrots. Trees. We need bushels. Look at that. We can buy more trees. Just keep cranking the rates. Except for grass. We're a little shy on grass. Look, we're almost at 3k carrots, which means we can upgrade pumpkins again. That number is climbing fast, very fast. And then it just stopped. Maybe I should make another coffee or get distracted with something else here. Do some laundry. Wait for these pumpkins to... You know what would be really cool, actually? If something was colored. If it was if there was like a trend of like in the last, trying to figure out how to articulate this. It'd be really cool actually if they colored it, the text green or red, to show like, you know, trending over the last so many times we're adding instead of subtracting. Like a rate of change kind of thing. So you can quickly look and see, okay, we're going down. Because I'm getting the occasional triple pumpkin. It's definitely rare. You know, now that we're at this number here, if I was just to comment out wasting my pumpkins on fertilizer. My next question, is there such a thing as a multi-line comment? Okay, it's looking like we're at 1.3 pumpkins all of a sudden, as soon as I commented out using fertilizer, wasting all my pumpkins. List. I'm finally unlocking something here. And I've been thinking about it, I'm not exactly sure how lists work, or how it would advantage me. Lists are a simple way to store several values in a single variable. List is 2 true items, hey, okay. It can be empty if there's 0 items in it. The first element is 0. Okay, so we can store entities like that. Interesting. So with loops, you could loop through. Oh yeah. I can just see by quickly reading through this now, lists add a lot of functionality. I'm just not exactly sure how I would utilize it. I've got a vague idea. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know exactly how I would use this. I'm thinking I would have to overhaul my code quite a bit, which is fine. I can just retire these two functions like that, drag them out of the way. If the new program doesn't work, it can be version 4, then yeah, we don't lose anything. It's nice not having to delete stuff that you worked on, right? Just kind of keep a backup of it. It's also kind of cool too, as you can see your progression. This was my main program, and then now we're on this one and this guy. This is not so much a third program as it is a helper just to get me lots of pumpkins quickly. I'm almost at the point now where I can quickly get pumpkins too. Use a companion planting. Wait, what? Use companion planting to increase the yield? What does that even mean? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong number. It's 4.9 carrots, not 4.9 pumpkins. Allows accessing your inventory as a list. Oh man, I think that's what I want. Allows accessing your inventory as a list. You know what? That's game changing. This right here is game changing. Extends the farm. There goes a bunch of pumpkins, right? Oops. Wait a second. 2 carrots. Is that not what I needed? Boom. Let's just let this run, because technically if anything's over 3, it should plant carrots, which it did. Okay, so I suspect this part won't be part of the video, but at least we can look at it. You can look at your inventory as a list of items. The getInventory function allows you to get a list of your inventory in such a way it returns a list where each inner list contains an item and a number representing how much you have. Perfect. That's what I've been looking for since day one, I think. So that's kind of complicated. Not complicated, but it's not as simple as it just being a list. It's kind of a list embedded in a list, if that makes sense. Get cost function returns a list of pairs like that. Interesting. Get cost. That's kind of cool. So instead of always having to refer to the trading table, you can just get the cost. What if we did inventory equals that, and then this should maybe just have a better name. Get in. Just no. I don't know what I'm doing. If it's not immediately obvious. So for I in inv, we should get the length of it, right? Basically, I want you to print. How do I reference? How do I reference? Let's just see what happens if I do this. So I'm going to comment out my programs here. Actually, I could just run this guy locally, couldn't I? Okay, interesting. I wasn't actually expecting that. So it prints the whole list. What if I printed I1? I don't know if the print function is going to like this. Hmm. You know what we could do? We could say, maybe I should try to explain what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to, I guess, understand how the inventory works, how I can use it. And I'm thinking right now I could do a check that, hey, if our numbers are below a threshold, then, plant them. Because that could be an interesting way to try to min-max everything. Maybe. So we could say if if inv if I1, which should be the count, right? Because basically for each element in this, it starts at 0, and 0 is the name, and then 1 should be the count. So if the count of something in the list is actually less than, we could say 1,000, then we have to use the colon, and then we could say we'll just print the name of whatever's low. So that could be I0, maybe. Carrot seeds, empty tank, water, fertilizer. Okay. Carrot seeds, empty tank, water tank, pumpkin seed. I guess that's kind of a tough check. Anything's lower than 2,000. You know what? Just to ignore the junky stuff, if it's lower than 2,000 and I1 is greater than 100, then just tell me about it. Because the other stuff's just like helper stuff, right? We don't really care about seeds or barrels. Hay, carrots. They must have changed the name to grass to hay. So hay and carrots are below 2,000. Cool. All right, this is good. This is very good. Kind of a little bit of a proof of concept there, but if our levels are between a certain threshold, just print the name. And we could actually ask it to call certain routines based on levels to try to, min-max everything. It's funny, I'm using my hands to actually articulate it, but you can't see my hands move. This is kind of cool. It would have been cool to have access to the inventory, honestly, a lot earlier because I was asking about it, or I was asking myself about it rather. But it's not a bad idea to not overload the player or overwhelm the player because you try to get too complicated too fast, I suppose, is the idea. And making me, click this and retire these two programs over here. It's not a bad idea because maybe version 4 will be a lot cleaner with the things that I've learned. Overall, 2 thumbs up. Didn't progress much though.